In this session, let us learn about HTML style CSS. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. CSS saves a lot of work. It can control the layout of multiple web pages all at once. Cascading Style Sheets. CSS is used to format the layout of a web page. With CSS, you can control the color, font, the size of text, the spacing between elements, how elements are positioned and laid out, what background images or background colors are to be used, different displays for different devices and screen sizes, and much more. Tip: the word cascading means that a style applied to a parent element will also apply to all children elements with the parent. So, if you set the color of the body text to yellow, all headings, paragraphs, and other text elements within the body will also get the same color unless you specify something else. Using CSS. CSS can be added to HTML documents in three ways. Inline, by using the style attributes inside HTML elements. Internal, by using style element in the head section. External, by using link element to link an external CSS file. The most common way to add CSS is to keep the style in external CSS file. However, in this tutorial, we will use inline and internal styles because this is easier to demonstrate and easier for you to try it yourself. Inline CSS. An inline CSS is used to apply a unique style to a single HTML element. An inline CSS uses the style attributes of an HTML element. The following example sets the set colors of the H1 element to green and the text color of the P element to orange. See the code and example. See the example code. Document type color green, color heading H1, style color orange paragraph P. See here, green and orange was printed. Internal CSS. An internal CSS is used to define a style for a single HTML page. An internal CSS is defined in the head section of an HTML page within a style element. The following example sets the text color of all the H1 elements on the page to green and the text color of all the P elements to orange. In addition to, the page will be displayed with a yellow background color. See the example code and result. H1 is green, P is orange, red. See here, the background was yellow, the heading is green, the paragraph is in orange. External CSS. An external style sheet is used to define the style for many HTML pages. To use an external style sheet, add a link to the head section of each HTML page. Create a file in your editor and save it as style.css with giving some values. The external style sheet can be written in any text editor. The file must not contain any HTML code and must be saved with a.css extension. Here is what the style CSS file look like this. Style.css code. See the code. See how we created style.css file. See body, background color, body, flower brackets, background color, light golden, orange, red, yellow, close flower bracket. See, but you should use flower brackets here. You should not use HTML code here. When external style sheet, you can change the look of an entire website by changing one file. See the code example. See, we are using a link here. REL style sheet, serif style.css. We use that. See, this is the heading, this is a paragraph. Green and orange was printed. CSS colors, fonts, and size. Here we will demonstrate some commonly used CSS properties. You will learn more about them later. The CSS color property defines the text color to be used. The CSS font family property defines the font to be used. The CSS font size property defines the text size to be used. See example, use of CSS color, font family, and font size properties. See, now we are using for font. See color green, font family Vardhana, font size 10%. And color orange, font family Calibri, font size 160%. See here, by executing writing this code, this is heading and this is paragraph. See paragraph and heading was printed in green and paragraph printed in orange. CSS border. The CSS border property defines a border around an HTML element. You can define a border for nearly all HTML elements. See example, use of CSS border property. See we are using 2 pixel solid green. See all borders were printed in green. CSS padding. The CSS padding property defines a padding space between the text and the border. See example, use of CSS border and padding properties. See the code here. Border 2 pixels solid orange red, padding 30 pixels. See here, we are using padding here. This heading, this paragraph, and this paragraph. CSS main, CSS margin. The CSS margin property defines a margin space outside the border. See here, we are using some border here. Border 2 pixels solid orange red, margin 50 pixels. See here, some border was appeared. In result, link to external CSS. External style sheets can be referenced with a full URL or with a path related to the current web page. See the example. This example uses a full URL to link to a style sheet. See the code here. Now we are using the style sheet by using full URL. This is my website, and from that we have taken the style.css file, which we can link like this. Example. This example links to a style sheet located in a CSS folder on the current website. See, if we locate in the same current website where we are working, we can directly link that style sheet from there. css/styles.css. This example links to a style sheet located in the same folder as the current page. See here, if it is in same folder in the current page, we can directly use style.css here. See here. Chapter summary. Use the HTML styles attribute for inline styling. Use the HTML style element to define internal CSS. Use the HTML link element to refer to an external CSS file. Use the HTML add element to store style and link elements. Use the CSS color property for text colors. Use the CSS font family property for text fonts. Use the CSS font size property for text sizes. Use the CSS border property for borders. Use the CSS padding property for space inside the border. Use the CSS margin property for space outside the border. HTML style tags. Styles defines style information for an HTML document. Link defines a link between a document and an external source. Okay friends, this is the end of HTML part 16, HTML CSS. In next video, let us learn about another topic, HTML links. If you like our program, please like, subscribe and press bell icon for our next part video updates. Thank you friends. Meet you in next video. All the best.